Chapter 5. The New College. On February 1st, 1986, the following article appeared in the Jerusalem Post entitled, New College to Train Top Public Officials. Planning is to begin this next month for the National College for State and Public Servants, scheduled to open in 1987, according to sources in the Prime Minister's office. The college, the brainchild of the Prime Minister's Office Director General Abraham Tamir and his Foreign Ministry counterpart David Kimchi, will train senior civil servants and diplomats. It will replace the Foreign Ministry's Internal Diplomatic Training Department. Dov Sion, formerly Israel's representative on the Israel-Egypt Military Committee, is to head the planning team, and will probably head the college once it is founded. Sion was one of the founders of the IDF's National Defense College. The college will be planned by an interdepartmental team from the Prime Minister's Office, the Foreign Ministry, and the Finance Ministry. On June 25, 1986, Rabbi Herb Friedman received the following handwritten message from Leslie Wexner. I met with George Weidenfeld in London. He tells me that David Kimchi and Dov Sion are interested in establishing in Jerusalem the equivalent of the National School of France for government and civil servants. This is exactly what we had talked about, and I think Kimchi is excellent. Please call George Weidenfeld in London. He is expecting your call. Rabbi Friedman's handwritten notes on June 26th say that he had spoke to Weidenfeld, and that Weidenfeld will be in New York between July 9th and 16th, and will call him when he arrives. On November 11th, 1986, while staying at the Intercontinental Hotel in New York City, David Kimchi wrote the following handwritten letter to Rabbi Herbert Friedman. Dear Rabbi Friedman, I had hoped I would have the pleasure of meeting you during my stay in New York, but you were unfortunately out of town. I had the good fortune to have lunch with Mr. Bertram Cohn, and I expect he will tell you of our conversation. I expect to be in New York again in January, and shall then contact you in the hope of setting up a meeting. Yours sincerely, David Kimchi. On November 17, 1986, Rabbi Herbert Friedman sent the following correspondence to Mr. David Kimchi. Dear Mr. Kimchi, I have your letter of November 11th mailed from the Intercontinental Hotel in New York, and I am indeed sorry that we missed each other when you were here. I have heard about the project which you and Dov Sion are developing, and I would really be interested in learning more about it. I had a talk with Yael Dayari when she was here in October, and she told me that Dov was preparing a working paper, which would describe the project in some detail. I told her that I would be interested in seeing a copy of that when it was completed. I am particularly interested in knowing about the sponsorship. To whom will this school or institute belong? That is really the key question. Who runs it? I am not referring to the names of people, but rather to constitutional authority. Lord Weidenfeld once spoke to Mr. Leslie Wexner, who is also interested in learning more about the project. You said that you would be back in New York in January, and there is a possibility that I will be in Israel in January making some videotapes for our seminar groups. I will explain to you in detail when we meet. I do not want us to miss each other in January. Therefore, as soon as you know your dates, I would appreciate hearing from you. Similarly, when I know mine, I shall inform you. Sincerely yours, Herbert A. Friedman. On April 10, 1987, Rabbi Herbert Friedman sent the following correspondence to Mr. Teddy Kollek, then the mayor of Jerusalem. Dear Teddy, enclosed is a memorandum I sent to Wexner. It is a first draft of how to proceed. Kimchi is willing to work part-time on this, but that is not enough. In addition, we need one person in the U.S. to mobilize some of the people named on page 4. I have found that person in Haim Shaked of the Dayan Center at Tel Aviv University, who is also at the University of Miami for a year, to work on some cooperative ventures between the two universities. He has the time to travel around the U.S., interviewing these deans and plucking their brains. He also has know-how because he helped set up the National Defense College. He also has good relations with Kimchi and is willing to work in cooperation with him. Lastly, he understands that this is only a temporary appointment for the planning period, which might be a year. I think this would be a good solution. If Wexner agrees, then Kimchi, Shaked, and I would start drafting a working paper, which we could then circulate among the members of the planning committee, gathering everyone's ideas and opinions, then reducing them to paper. It would lead to us at the first meeting of the committee, which I hope could take place in the fall. I'd love to hear your ideas and reactions. On May 19, 1987, Rabbi Herbert Friedman sent the following correspondence to Steve Campbell, then the head of Wexner Investment Company in Columbus, Ohio. Dear Steve, this is the first expense account which is chargeable to the Institute of Public Administration, which I told you about when we last met. Temporarily, you are going to set up some special account to handle these early preliminary expenses until Leslie decides on a more permanent structure. I also told Harold about this, so everybody is in the know. Please make the check out to Haim Shaked and mail it to me. I will see that he gets it. Sincerely, Herb.